The Icons of Real Estate Podcast. Are you ready to learn the proven money-making secrets from top-producing Icon agents? Ready to skyrocket your business? This podcast is for you. Tune in every week with your host, Tomasz Fonseca, and find out how to implement proven strategies to 10 times your business, from $3 million to $30 million in just 12 months. Brought to you by the Masters in Real Estate Marketing, Arter SEO.
So welcome to another episode of the Icons of Real Estate podcast, where we highlight top professionals who are making waves in the industry. So I'm your host, Karen Roberts, and today I'm very excited to introduce Isaias Reis. He is based in Orlando, Florida, with a passion for helping clients navigate the vibrant Florida real estate market. Isaias is committed to providing you with the latest opportunities for buying property in the area, and this includes at auction. On his channel, on his channel, you can expect insights into the home buying process, fascinating facts, exciting news about Orlando's real estate landscape. So welcome to the show, Isaias.
Well, thank you very much for having me here with you all. And it's a pleasure to be able to share a little bit of what I've learned and what I do on my daily activities. And real estate's a big passion that I have. And we do our best to get the best possible service to the ones who need and want to be here in Florida and, appreciate this great place.
Fantastic. So, well, let's start with what the inspiration was behind you pursuing a career in real estate, and how did your journey begin?
Well, my journey is long, but just to make it short, I come from a law degree in Brazil. I'm an attorney there, and also I started buying properties in Brazil for clients as an attorney, because it's a bit different from here, in auctions. So auctions there, pretty much if you don't have an attorney, you go nowhere. So that's how I started in the real estate business there. And then from there we developed, because as an attorney, I was able to buy and sell properties as a realtor. I didn't have to be a realtor to be able to do that. So I opened a brokerage, and then we had that company there buying and selling property in the real estate market and doing lots of auctions in Brazil. Then we moved to Florida. And the other business that I have is on the tourism side. We are a tour operator in South America. So we do tours to Brazil and other countries in South America. But then I moved to Orlando, Florida for good. We got our green card, and then we moved here with the family, my wife and my two kids. And then I continued my business, developed my business from the tourism here. But then I also pursued a license as a realtor, because in here I didn't want to go through law school, I'm too old for that. I know it just meant too much. So I just said, well, I love real estate and I love auction. I found out the thing that I like most in Brazil, that is auctions. But here they're totally different. You don't have to be a lawyer or an attorney to be able to navigate this paradise, because it's paradise for investors mainly. And so I just, learned how it all works, did a lot of study on my own, also, took some classes. And then I specialize in tax deed auctions that are buying and selling properties from auctions that happen for the properties that have not paid their taxes. So property taxes is one of the ways that takes your home into a foreclosure. So there are three kinds of foreclosure, and we specialize in tax deed foreclosure. Pretty much that's what a tax deed sale is. It's a tax deed foreclosure, and then we specialize on that. And that's what we do.
Wow.
We do a lot of sales for our clients. And we buy ourselves and sell our own properties. We have investors from Brazil, from here, from just about anywhere in the world, because it's a pretty good market here in Florida. Everybody wants to move to Florida. And if you can move cheaper, it's even better. So we have different deals with our investors. And so that's what we do.
Fantastic. So that's a nice way in when you can get it so cheap, getting a tax deed. So as a realtor in Orlando, what unique opportunities do you see for buyers in this current market? And does that cover these tax deeds?
Yeah, the tax deed, we pretty much work in the whole state. We could actually work in the 50 states because it's something that it's there in all the states. We specialize in Florida because that's where we have our license. You don't have to have a license to do that also. But I mean, since I have a license, I pretty much do the listing. I get the listing myself, either my own listing or my investors' listings, and just put on the MLS as one of the ways to sell it, but then we also have a whole strategy for selling the properties also. And some of our investors, they will just keep the property for renting. Some others will build, because we do all sorts of properties. We do vacant lots, so you can buy a piece of property here for like $15,000, $10,000. It's vacant land. And if you want to invest in the future, rather than go to the SP 500, as many people invest in SP 500, you can buy like 4 or 5 lots and spend like, let's say, 30, $40,000 and leave it there for 30 years. Probably it's going to give you more money than the SP 500 at the end of the day. Or if you want to just do part on SP 500, then you want to do 401k, and then part of the real estate properties, you buy the vacant lot, you pay the property tax, and then the valuation is just amazing, because here in Florida you'll see properties going up in value very fast. Some place will be like, oh, 10%, some others 5, but then the developing areas will go like 20%. If you have a big company coming into a small county and bring development to that county, out of nowhere, you buy properties for 5,000, then next year you're gonna sell them for like 15,000, because now you have development. You see, so it all depends on what's happening. And since Florida is a state to which everybody is literally coming to, and it's not me, just look at the statistics, and people are just investing definitely in Texas and Florida, North Carolina. These states are being, I mean, place that people are moving towards the most. And Florida has just boomed in the last 5 years. When the whole country was going to a crisis in the real estate, Florida was just like seeing the price going all the way up and up, and they say, oh, it's a bubble, it's gonna blow, it's gonna blow, it's gonna blow. I mean, it stopped growing as much as it was, but it did not burst at all. So the prices are still high, and there is no study showing that there is a great chance that it's going to drop to where it was. It will not drop to where it was. So whoever bought like 5 years ago saw a huge increment on the property values, and it will still see, because just like here in the Orlando area, we're gonna have the new park by Universal called the Epic. It will come on 2025. So that area, it was an okay area, but it was far away. There was not much around. And then when people started to see that Universal was going to build, they start to buy. And the property values over there, imagine you have properties literally wall to wall with Epic right there. They're building, at least I counted, because I drive by almost every day. There is at least 3 new hotels by Universal there. And they're talking about like hotels, not little hotels. They're like real resorts. I'd say that they will have probably like close to 1,000 rooms there per building. And so I
Wow.
don't know exactly. I haven't looked at the amount, but by the size of the hotel, I mean, it's gonna be huge, all of them. So these things happen here in Florida because you have lots of parks coming, lots of new companies coming, and as they come, they bring a lot of development, and they will look for areas close to Orlando, because Orlando is now full. So, people say,
Hmm.
oh, where are you going to go? I'm going to go to Orlando. And then say, oh, but where in Orlando? I'm going to Disney. Disney's not in Orlando. I mean, it's in Orlando area, but that's not Orlando. You see, that's another county. It's not even Orange County, so it's in Kissimmee, more in Kissimmee than in anywhere else, but people come to Orlando. So Orlando's more a brand. So people are, growing their stuff around the city of Orlando, and still using the name Orlando to bring
Hmm.
value to their businesses, and this brings value to the properties, because then all of a sudden now you live in Orlando because you are right by the new Universal Park, or you buy the new thing that is happening somewhere, and then now it's integrating. And also, besides Orlando, you have many other areas that are developing. We have Sumter County here, that is a county close to Orange County. That's where Orlando is located at. There is a place called the Villages. I don't know if you ever heard of the Villages. It's a plus 55 community, and they have 3 villages. And I mean, it's huge. They have everything there. they have movie theaters, they have restaurants, they have it all. Now they are developing in Sumter County, and thus the village, it touches 3 counties. Now in Sumter County, they're building the fourth of the villages. So that area of Sumter County was dead. So the property there was very cheap. Now that they're bringing the village there, the fourth one, and I mean it's a whole city that is being developed there. So then the value of the real estate property there just jump started it just went off the roof. So I talk a lot, I know. So
That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. So it just goes to show location, location, location. So can you share a memorable experience that you've had while helping a client find their dream home?
yeah, I mean, almost every sale is an experience, because when you're selling either a house or an apartment or a condo or even a vacant lot, you're selling a dream. Because unless you are investing, of course, there are investors, that's not a dream for them. But some investors, they're actually investing in their future. And sometimes what strikes me most is not even like the dream house that you buy, but that they help somebody buying, but the dream that will come out of a vacant land. You see, because when you sell a house, you can see that. And then one quote that I like a lot is when they interviewed the brother of Walt Disney when they started Disney here, Disney World, back in the 70s, 72. Walt Disney was already dead. And then the reporter asked his brother, this is a pretty famous quote anyhow, but just to give you the idea of why I'm using that. They asked the brother, the guy said, well, it's a pity that Walt Disney was not here, to see it all the way it is being, started. And the brother said, no, you're totally wrong. We are here because he saw it first. So the point is that he saw this. He doesn't have to be here today because he was the lucky one who saw it before everybody else. And the only reason why we are here is because he saw it first. So that means that when you sell a vacant land, a vacant lot to somebody, that like either an acre, half an acre, quarter of an acre, and that person looks at that place, there's only like trees, grass, and all sorts of stuff, but a house. And then he or she can see and envision their dream house. And I had the person from New York, and just to give you the answer to what you asked me, that I sold a vacant property in the St. Johns County back maybe 2 years ago. And he is moving, and I was driving by the other day because I sold the land, and I drive by, the whole state pretty much, because we work pretty much on the 67 counties here, buying properties. But then I drove by that place, and I was with my kids, and I remember that I had sold a lot right nearby. So I said, let's go check it out and see what if there's anything happening, because I remember the guy said, and the guy is building a house. So that really impressed me, because it's like when you sell something, and then somebody tells you, oh yeah, oh no, I'm gonna build my house, I'm gonna move. I don't know probably if he's moving down here or if he's building a house to rent out. I haven't talked to him, but it was really I was really thankful to God, because when I saw it, he's really making his dream come true. I have no idea what the full dream is, but one thing is true. When I sold that to him, he didn't even see the land. He actually bought it over the phone. I did all the conversation over the phone, and we did it all mobile, because that's the advantage of nowadays. Technology. You can do so much that people don't even imagine how much you can actually do. And we did the whole thing over the phone, and emails, phones, and the title companies, and there is the house coming up. And I was real surprised. I showed my kids, hey, there's a one of those, because my kids, they when I bring them over to some place that they're so much in the middle of nowhere, apparently, because for kids, you go to a place where you have acre lots and everything seems so big and the infrastructure is so different from Orlando, that they were like, oh, but do people live here? Yes, yeah, people live here. They build house here. They build dreams here. And then I showed them, hey, I sold this lot, and it's like totally transformed. So the house is, coming up, and it's really
Beautiful.
interesting. So that's one of the things that struck me a lot.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. You see the end result. How wonderful. Very rewarding, I would have thought. So, what do you think sets your approach to real estate apart from others in the industry?
Yeah, I always like, maybe because of my background, I've always liked things that are not the common. And that's why I do tax deeds. Because I mean, if you don't know what you're doing, you can just make a huge mistake. It's not that's why it's not very common, because it's not very easy, and you gotta know what you're doing. And you gotta, I mean, if you're gonna invest on tax deed, you gotta look for somebody who knows what he or she's doing. That's the truth. And but what sets me apart is that I mean, I've done it for a long time back home, and that's something that I love to do, because there, as my wife used to say, and lots of friends of mine, they'd say, man, you are able to literally untie knots, because there you have literally, a whole bunch of knots all tied, and you have to untie them all to make a straight line, because tax deed auctions there, and being able to actually get into the property is a nightmare. And here, of course, is way easier, but you have the things they have to watch out for, because otherwise you're going into a realm that is not like the common one. And sometimes even in our industry, people don't have the slightest idea of what I'm talking about. I've talked about this with people who work in title companies that have deeds going on every single day, like 10 deeds a day, 15 deeds a day. And you talk about tax deed auctions, and they go like, oh, but what is that exactly? So they don't even know. So what sets me apart is exactly that. The fact that I've done my homework well, I've studied a lot, developed all those strategies, and the more you do, the better you get. And then you see that people are way behind, and it's not that it's impossible to be done, but it's not like the common thing. So I cannot tell you that I'm 100% sure of how much I'm gonna get back on the property on a tax deed before I dig into that. But once I dig into that, I can tell you with a lot of assurance how much, or how you can deal with that property in terms of keeping it for rental, reselling, or living there, building a house or living in the house that is there, renovating. So being able to actually work through those unstable road that is a tax deed in a safe position, that's what makes me different from most of the people out there. There are good people out there, but there are so many bad people out there also doing so many stupid things. And and I see them all the time that I go into an auction, because when you're in an auction, then you see what people are doing. It's like, man, where did they get these comps from? Because I work on my comps, and I know when I'm talking about price, because I study the area, and I know, and I go to as much as we need to go to make money, because everybody's on business to make money. Nobody's going into the business to lose money, but lots of people are losing money. And so it's like, okay, next time I won't see this person again, because probably it's the last time that they're buying, because after this person, they're gonna either go bankrupt or gonna get killed by whoever gave them the money to go into this. So
So you
that
do so many different things, but to give an idea to the listeners, so you've got the tax deeds, you're selling land, you're selling houses. Overall, what are you sort of doing in a year? How many of each thing are you selling in any given year?
oh, you mean amount wise, money wise?
Transactions, or is
And
it is
transaction is
it
better, because I mean, money wise
majority
is
of the work
complicated.
tax deed?
Because, yeah, because total wise is complicated, because it depends very much. You can sell 10 lands, and you sell half a house, and you've sold the amount that you get in the land. On the same way that I cannot tell you exactly, because that's something that's still going on, so I cannot actually tell you. But like there is a property that I'm involved in selling right now, that if it really comes through as it is coming, I believe that at the very end of this year, and or the beginning of next year, it will be concluded because we are in the due diligence. And so if everything looks great as it is looking, because we also have some stuff going on. I mean, just there, and I'm telling you, just to give you an idea of amount, that property only will be will be more than I've sold sometimes in a year in terms
Wow.
of amount of money in one property, rather than selling. Maybe I'd have to sell probably 40 house in Orlando
Wow.
to accomplish that amount of sale.
And
You
that's from a
see,
tax deed.
no, not tax deed. No,
Okay.
this
That's from land.
specifically is not tax, because as you mentioned, I do working because I don't work tax deed alone. Of course, tax deed is my passion, because that's where there's more money. Definitely, if you're an investor, tax deed, that's where you have more money to make. Instead of keeping the money at the bank for like 4 or 5% a year, or even SP, if you are extremely lucky and on the average you're gonna make like 10 to 15% a year, tax deed is the place, because you're gonna have a turnover easily like 50%, 75%. Because let's say in Florida, how does it work with tax deed? Florida, you can theoretically turn over the property in 3 to 4 months. So that would make you make a deal every 3 to 4 months, what adds up to either 3 or 4 per year. Okay, let's say you get $100,000 and you buy a property of $100,000, you'd be able to turn over your money at 3 to 4 times, because that's the time that takes from the time you buy the property to clear the title and you're ready to sell it. So you'd be able to sell it in 3 to 4 months. So you'd be able to have 3 or 4 transactions per year. Now, if you
Wow.
have an average of 25% profit on each transaction every 3 to 4 months, you're gonna make between 75
Wonderful.
to 100% on your money
There you go.
in a whole year. You see, so
Wonderful.
that's
Good
the turnover.
investment.
Exactly. So
Sounds like a good investment.
in other place, because of redemption period, and that's a whole other 10 podcasts that we need to go through. But because of redemption period and other stuff, you can only make one transaction a year, sometimes half a transaction a year. If when you divide, of course, there's no such a thing as a half a transaction a year, but on the average, it would be like half a transaction a year. So it depends very much on the state. And that's why I work with Florida pretty much, because first, I live here. I'm already here. And second, it's a state that allows me to have 3 to 4 transactions a year. So if I make 20% and I decide, well, let's say, oh, I want to make as many transactions as I can in a year. So let's put a 15% markup on our deal. So you buy a land for 10 and you're gonna sell that for 11.50 or 12. But we're gonna sell 4 if we do that way. So you buy for 10, but at the end of the day, you're gonna have, at the end of the year, you will have 18,000 out of that. So you will bring your 10,000 to 18,000. You have 80% profit in 1 year. There is
Perfect.
no investment that brings you that kind of money. The bank
Wonderful.
does, I mean, but in order to own the
Yeah.
bank, you need a little bit more
Great.
money.
So great that you're covering so many different areas, so many different areas.
Yeah.
So look, lastly, Isaiah, if we at Icons of Real Estate, we're not just a podcast, we are the #1 real estate podcast in the US. So our final question would be, if you had your own podcast, what would you call it?
Yeah, first I'd learn from you how to run one. And then I like marketing, and I believe that we should market ourselves. Okay. And I'd call, as my YouTube channel is my name. So I'd call Isaias Reis. Actually, my YouTube channel has an M that is my middle initial, because somebody had already taken my first last name. And but it's good. It's a pastor, and I'm Christian too. I'm glad that he has the Isaias Reis.
There
That's
you
okay.
go.
I'll sell for Isaias M Reis. But yeah, I'd have a podcast with my name on, because I think that gives you a much broader spectrum to bring any topics. Because real
100%.
estate great, but
You're
it can be boring.
covering too, but you're covering lots of topics, so that would be perfect. So if the listeners are out there, their ears are pricked up and they want to know more about investing in Florida, how do they reach you?
Yeah, it's very easy. If they go into the MLS, they'll find me. If they go to DBPR, there's the organization that runs the business here in Florida. I'm also there because I'm registered. But I'm gonna leave my numbers and my email, so they're more than welcome to contact me if they need anything on the regular business of real estate. If they want to go deeper into real estate investment possibilities as tax deed great, or rentals, any sort of investments in that area, and also in tourism, because I'm also in tourism. I've been in tourism for over 30 years. So we have another company that also does, tourism. So we have it all. So I'm going to leave all my contacts, phone number and email. So I'm very reachable, and they can always go to my Instagram and, YouTube and, enjoy the videos. They can be either
we'll have everything.
or
We'll have everything in the show notes. We'll have everything in the show notes. So get in touch. Thank you for your time today, Isaiah. And to the listeners, I'll be back next time with the Icons of Real Estate podcast. Bye for now.
Thank you. Bye-bye.